few moments. We're actually in the middle, really, or at the start, I guess, maybe about a third of the way through, a big transition at Yeldall. In a few moments, I'm going to show you another film about a new thing that I'm going to be heading off to do with my family and some colleagues elsewhere, in terms of taking the approach and the kind of thing that we do at Yeldall and taking it to developing nations where it's needed, desperately needed. And as a result of that, we're in a leadership transition at Yeldall, and an exciting one actually. It's cool from my point of view, where you make a move over here, and actually as a result of that, you see some really good stuff happening over here. And in that context, I want to reintroduce Tref to you. Because you know Tref as the General Secretary of the International Substance Abuse and Addiction Coalition, this incredible organisation that knits together folks working in addiction around the world. Lots of work in Eastern Europe, work in Latin America, work in all sorts of places that they're involved in. And Tref's been pushing that forward and leading that work for a number of years. Tref has also been working in other contexts, and he has this incredible ability to juggle way more stuff than I could ever juggle. And in the fact, or out of the fact that Tref has this incredible ability, he's taken on the role of Chief Executive, designate for now, but from April it will be without the designate, at Yeldall Manor. So give Tref a clap, and so what Tref will be doing in part is then restructuring. We're in a restructuring process in terms of how Tref can do the great stuff that he does with half of his workload, and then bring in support for him in other areas. But yeah, I'm going to hand over to Tref now, and Tref's going to speak to us.
Thank you, Andy. It's great to be here again. I think those of you who were here last year, I witted on about some of the work happening in many parts of the world that I know through this role I have with Isaac. I came back to working formally at Yeldall last month, just a short one day a week at the moment, but that's 20 years to the month since I arrived as a volunteer fresh out of university. So for me it was quite a significant date in that, and it's such a privilege to be back there, such a privilege to be here today and hearing all the stories and that real reminder of why we do what we do. It's just very emotional actually to hear each of these different stories. We had a celebration at Yeldall a couple of weeks ago, and again it's very emotional to hear the stories of the people who'd recently completed the programme. So it's fantastic to be back there doing a hands-on role, or we'll be doing more in the future probably. But just to remind those of you who were here last year, and to say to those who weren't here about Isaac, so it's this network of Christians around the world, got members in over 70 countries, and we simply say that we try and do three things: to connect, to encourage, and equip people doing that work. Very much a network. A little illustration that may help you understand what we're talking about. If you think about a starfish and a spider, we're more like a starfish. A spider, you lop its head off, it dies. A starfish, especially some of them, you lop an arm off, it grows into a new starfish. We're very much about the network. It isn't about control and leadership, it's about the members and about them doing the work. So in that context, it's fantastic to know about what Andy's moving off to. He'll be moving back with his family to Bolivia, where he lived for a number of years. And actually in 2008, I visited him there, and we visited a number of rehab projects, because even at that stage there was beginnings of a vision to start something in Bolivia. So I think it's fantastic that the two parts of my working life will continue to work alongside each other, and that I can continue to be connected with Andy and the work that he's doing there. So again, really great to be here today and to hear all the different stories and those that have shared. It's been brilliant, thank you. So I think now we're going to watch a short video on the work that Andy is about to start in Bolivia.
desde los 15 años a tomar.
Desde que muerto mi padre, 72.
Que tenía 13 años y empezaba a tomar. No puedo dejar la bebida, así mi gran vicio hasta ahorita. Lo único que domina mi vida es el alcohol.
We believe that God is calling us to create transformational communities where hurting and broken people can find freedom and new life in Christ. We want to support the church in developing nations to respond to their own sense of calling by providing them with the startup resources, the training and the oversight needed to launch and sustain a transformational community.
Sabemos que tenemos un llamado para ayudarlos a ellos, pero uno de los impedimentos que tenemos es que no hay un espacio donde llevarlos a ellos para que ellos puedan ser sanados de esa enfermedad que ellos están sufriendo.
We need communities, rehabilitation centers that can bring in the best in terms of therapeutic techniques.
There's a pressing need for Novo. Addiction is a global epidemic and a growing problem throughout the developing world. Bolivia is experiencing rapid social change and with it a dramatic increase in social problems like sexual abuse, prostitution and child neglect. Problems from which drugs and alcohol provide a temporary but ultimately enslaving escape.
Muchos jóvenes, adolescentes y todo tipo de personas están cayendo en un problema del alcoholismo.
Mi peor momento, así cuando muerto mi abuelo, y era lo único que me podía educar. El peor momento, así cuando él se estaba muriendo. Él estaba delirando, ese es el peor momento que me sentí feo, porque me sentí abandonado.
I've seen how it can destroy not only individuals but also entire families. I've seen how drug addiction can also affect the community, an entire community. And in Bolivia, this is a massive problem.
He intentado 4 veces. Creía que mi vida ya no valía la pena. Pensaba que hacía daño a la gente en vez de ayudarse. Pensaba que en vez de poder ayudar a alguien, mejor les hacía daño. Más sufría mi madre, más sufría mi familia al verme borracho, drogado, y por eso 1000 veces pensaba mejor. Quién sabe, estando en un ataúd, ya los dejaba tranquilos a ellos.
Novo communities will be built around an income-generating business which will provide work and training for the residents and ensure that each project is sustainable. Novo communities will include interactive groups designed to give residents an understanding of God, themselves, addiction and relationships. Each resident will have a key worker who will meet with him regularly, one-to-one, to offer encouragement, insight and feedback. Novo communities will be marked by a number of qualities. They'll focus on the whole person. They'll promote freedom and responsibility. They'll partner widely with local churches. There'll be communities of love and discipline, and they'll be characterized by grace and truth.
I would love to see communities dedicated to the restoration not only of individuals who suffer from addiction, but also their families who've had to cope with these problems.
Es un grave problema y creo que nosotros, los cristianos, que tenemos una respuesta para ellos, podemos darles algo más, no solamente una palabra, un ánimo, sino algo más que ellos necesitan para poder ser rehabilitados del alcoholismo.
Addiction is robbing too many people of too many things. Too many lives are being destroyed, too many families divided, too many children neglected, too many talents are being wasted. It's time to stand up and fight against the power of addiction. Every addict in our world should be able to access a safe community which offers healing, wholeness and hope. A place where they can find genuine freedom from addiction and new life.
Por algo estoy aquí, si no me pueden quitarme la vida, yo pienso que es por algo, ¿no? Y debe haber un propósito en mi vida, entonces voy a tratar de buscar ese propósito.
¿Desearía usted cambiar?
Sí.
¿Qué necesitaría para poder cambiar?
Cariño, así como ustedes, amor, compañía, comprensión, nada más. Comida se consigue.